happened around Saturday 6 p.m. So, you know, by 10 p.m. we are leaving Lee funeral home. So we go home. And that, I remember in the night, I called a few of my late husband's pastor friends. My husband was a pastor too. And I told them, you know what, there's a scripture in the book of Hebrews that says that the women of old received back their dead. So tomorrow morning we are waking up and we are going to the mortuary. I think at the back of my head, I had this faith that something will still happen. You know, something will still happen. And sure, we went to the Lee funeral home the next morning. Yeah, we met with a few pastors. I mobilized a few pastors and I told them, let's go. James has got to come back. And we went, and you know, we Pentecostals know how to pray. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, and we prayed. We prayed. Unfortunately, James did not come back. And one of the pastors then told me, Mary, you know, James is not coming back. I think it's time you let him go.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Let's Talk Show with Sophia Dhahabu. My goodness, today we are discussing about beyond the pain. And with me today, I'm joined by Miss Mary Muthiani. Oh my God, who is an author, a woman of God, an entrepreneur, and a mom. So without much further ado, let me introduce her to the show. Miss Mary, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Mary Muthiani. I'm a mother of two, a 10-year-old girl and a 13-year-old girl, sorry, and a 10-year-old boy. I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm an associate pastor here in Nairobi with one of the ministries. Yeah, so that's basically about me.
Wow. On today's topic, we are discussing about beyond the pain.
Yes.
And I happen to have heard a little bit about your story. So let's start from the book that you have. You're an author,
yes,
actually. So tell me about that.
Yeah, 10 years ago, I lost my husband in a very traumatic way. And we were from a church event in the evening, going back home. Then we met with some bad boys along the way, and there was shooting. Unfortunately, my husband was shot. He died on the spot. Yeah, so once you lose a loved one, and especially a husband, I was a young bride, I was a young mother, then your life changes.
Wait. How many years had you been married?
We had been married for 5 years.
So it was new.
Yeah, 5 years. We had a 2+, and I was 5 months pregnant with a boy.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys were driving?
Yeah, he was driving. We were in our car, and he was driving, and somehow whoever was shooting was very precise, and he hit him because he was the one driving the car, so he was hit right on the head, and he just collapsed and died.
They wanted something?
Yeah, they wanted to rob us, and of course when the car stopped, they came and robbed us.
So it's not that your husband tried to run away?
No.
It was just like that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on. Oh my God.
Yes, so after you lose a loved one, you know, life changes. Things become very different. Of course, yeah, I say there is an English word that describes the pain of losing a loved one. You cannot even express how you feel. I mean, it's pain that just seems to suffocate life out of you. But I went through it, you know, the healing process. Of course, it was a journey.
Now, before you can even go further, let's talk about the journey. Because I think we've gone through pain, but I've gone through pain personally, but I don't think I've gone through that excess pain.
Yes.
So number one, you are just, I want to believe this was the love of your life.
Yes.
You loved him.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you even go to the hospital? What happened?
You know, I hear gunshots, and I'm trying to figure out what's happening, because we were in the midst of a rod. And within split seconds, I realized that he has been shot. I did not see the people. I did not see the boys. But I realized that James has been shot. He's slammed his head on the steering wheel of the car. And, you know, the car is out of control because his leg really pressed the accelerator. And, you know, my instincts were just to start praying because that's what I know how to do well. And I remember I was pleading the blood. I was calling the angels of God to control the car because the car was literally flying. Because I think once he was shot, the leg just pressed the accelerator and the car took off. And just by God's grace or a miracle, the car just came and stopped by the roadside. Remember, I'm pregnant and I'm holding our 2-year-old daughter on my laps. So it was quite tough. The car stops. And when the car stopped, they come from behind. You know, and they came and robbed us. They took everything we had. You know, they removed our rings, his wallet, our phones. Everything was literally, you know, taken away from us. Fortunately, there are people that had passed the road during that very moment. So they rushed to the police and told them there is something that is happening. The police came immediately, you know, almost immediately. And when they saw the police car coming, they got into the bush because the road is...
It was immediately?
Yeah. The police did not take even more than 5 minutes, you know, because we are almost the Langata
prison
place. Yeah. So we are almost out of that bypass to in Langata, around the Langata area. Yeah, the police came immediately. You know, when the police came, James was still breathing because I could feel his heartbeat, and I told the police, kindly let's take him to the hospital. I can feel his heartbeat. Probably, you know, the doctors can help. Unfortunately, one of the police told me that if you're shot above your eyebrows here, the chances of survival are very slim. And sure enough, James did not breathe from, you know, for more than 2 minutes. He left.
I don't even know what to ask. I don't even know how to feel.
Yeah.
Because I'm imagining you're holding your child.
Yes.
You're pregnant. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
So did you get to the hospital?
No, we never got to the hospital, you know.
So they took the body?
Yeah, once the police came, you know, then it was the CID, the DCI. You know, they have their own protocols because it's a crime scene. They come and put the yellow tapes.
Oh, that thing happens.
Yes,
it happens in Kenya.
It happens. You know, those things that we see in movies.
Yeah.
They came and put the yellow tape and they took photographs. You know, because his body was lying on the ground by the time they came. Because when the robbers came to take from us, they asked me to take his body and put in the boot and drive away. I think they were trying to clear the scene for more robberies.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Okay. So in that moment, I'm trying to get his body out, and they did not want to touch him because, you know, fingerprints and all that. So I was trying to, and there's no way I could lift him. Yeah. So by the time the police came, I had managed to get the body on the ground. Yeah. So you know, they took photographs, and you know, we passed by Lee Funeral Home and left the body there.
Okay, so let's talk about after you just... Okay, were you shocked? Did you cry? Were you screaming?
Believe you me, amazingly, I was very composed. You know, at times I usually think I lost my mind, but I wasn't aware, because all along, when the police came and we realized that James is gone, I borrowed, because they had robbed us, I took one of the policeman's phone. And I called his dad, my father-in-law, and I called my pastor. And because I had their phone numbers offhand, yes. So I called them. And so my dad talked to people around. They came. You know, within 30 minutes, the place was full of friends, relatives, you know. And what I can say is that, to be very honest, I think the shock was beyond. I mean, I even couldn't cry. Yeah, but there came a moment when I cried, you know. Now,
wait. So you get to, you're just shocked?
Yes.
And you get to leave?
Yes.
You leave the body there?
Yes.
Still not crying?
Yes. I'm numb.
Yeah. I
I'm
can
numb.
imagine.
I think, I don't know what was going on through my mind, but I'm numb, I'm in shock, and probably I thought I was dreaming. Yeah, this can't be real. I mean, this can't be happening to me. It could be we are watching a movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
How about your son?
My daughter.
Your
the
daughter,
big
sorry,
one,
yeah.
For her it was tough. She's the one that was crying because she could see when the robbers asked me to get his body out, she could see the dad lying on the ground, and she's asking me, "Mom, get him up." I mean, why is daddy on the ground? Of course, yeah, she was really.
So she was the one that was emotional at that particular time.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've left Lee. Where are you going?
My mother-in-law had come,
Okay.
you know, and the sisters to my husband, so to my late husband. So I went to their home. I just couldn't go home alone.
Yeah.
So we went to their house, and I did not sleep that whole night.
Wait, so after you get to, oh my God, after you get to your in-laws, you were still not crying?
No, believe me, I did not cry. That because it happened around Saturday 6 p.m. So, you know, by 10 p.m. we are leaving Lee funeral home. So we go home, and that I remember in the night I called a few of my late husband's pastor friends. My husband was a pastor too, and I told them, you know what, there's a scripture in the book of Hebrews that says that the women of old received back their dead. So tomorrow morning we are waking up and we are going to the mortuary.
So you're always telling them that?
Yes.
Okay.
Remember, then I've still not cried. I mean, I'm so hopeful. I think at the back of my head, I had this faith that something will still happen. You know, something will still happen. And sure, we went to the Lee funeral home the next morning. Yeah, we met with a few pastors. I mobilized a few pastors, and I told them, let's go. James has got to come back.
Okay, guys, I don't know. Okay.
Yes, and we went, and you know, we Pentecostals know how to pray.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and we prayed. We prayed. Unfortunately, James did not come back, and one of the pastors then told me, Mary, you know, James is not coming back. I think it's time you let him go. Believe me, that's the first time I cried. It was hard. I mean, it was hard.
I can imagine.
That's the first time I let him go, and it's the first time that tears really left my eyes. And I remember looking at him, I just said, I cried and I said a prayer, and I gave him back to God.
Wait, now, after getting to that spot, what even prayer do you even make to God?
Yeah, you're just grateful for the time you spent together. And
I'm not grateful. I ain't gonna be grateful for nothing. I'm not gonna be grateful.
I know. Yeah.
5 years and you...
I know where you're coming from, but I'm grateful that I did not get where you are right now.
Yeah.
And I always say that was my greatest miracle, because Sophie, if I got there, I wouldn't be alive today.
How do you gain courage to tell God, God, I can't fathom that?
Yes, I hear you, but for me, when everybody else asks me how, I tell them my greatest miracle was God held me to his bosom, and I never left that place. Because if I made a mistake of leaving that place, believe you me, I would have taken my life or done something weird to destroy me. But somehow I held on. And instead of running away from him, that was the moment I just threw myself to God.
So you make that prayer and you tell God, do you know, I cannot even say it loudly. How do you tell God thank you? And it just hit you at that particular time.
That
my husband is gone.
Yes.
Does it take faith? Does it take believing that he's in a better place, knowing he's a man of God?
Yes.
He's not a heathen, he's not a sinner out there.
Yeah, he loved. James was a man that loved God. He was young, he had dreams for for his family, dreams
Yeah.
to serve God, you know, just literally expand the kingdom of God here on earth. And, you know, his life is cut short. So it was really hard, but for me, it was the greatest thing that I did, and it was the best thing that I did. And I'm grateful that that was the position I had then. Because believe you me, the pain of losing a loved one can kill you. That pain, then you add on top of it the fact that you're bitter at God,
Yeah.
you're bitter at people, you will die. You will get buried. You know, I had a baby in my womb. I just had, you know, it was my
We're
it was
even
my
going
miracle.
to talk about how you survived to carry that baby to term.
Yes.
Because that's another story again. So you leave Lee. You leave Lee, and are you okay? Are you dramatic? Like, are you all over? How is your reaction now then that it has just hit you?
I accepted the fact that yes, James is dead. You know, we left. I was okay. It's not that I was crying, but you know, let me say that God held me. I mean, I just needed to be okay, because I've got a young daughter. She was 2+. I'm pregnant. God just in his own way just held me.
Miss Mary, oh my God. So you're leaving Lee.
Yeah.
So you go home or you go to your in-laws?
I go to my in-laws. Yeah, it happened on the 10th of December. So the whole of that month I spent at my in-laws. There's no way I could bring myself to go back to the house.
Okay.
Yeah, I went back to the house once to just get his suit, because we decided not to buy a new suit, to just get one of the suits that he had. So I just went, picked one of his suits and shoes, and that was it. I just couldn't stand that house.
Now, after that realization, there's somewhere I want you to tell me.
Yeah.
You've cried for the first time.
Yeah.
How do you find yourself to sleep?
Getting to sleep was, I think I was okay. My child had a problem.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
the young girl, she had a problem with sleeping, because she would have, I don't know if there are nightmares or I don't know what that was, but in the middle of the night she would scream. She would, you know, just wake up and scream. And when you try to get her up, she wouldn't wake up. Yeah, so...
And you slept okay?
Yeah, I was okay. You know, I always say that I am a miracle.
You
I
are.
think just God took over.
Yeah.
Yes. The only thing I couldn't do was eat, you know. I don't think I ate before we buried James. I would take in fluids and try to, but I couldn't eat a meal. Yeah, but my daughter had a problem sleeping. I think the gunshots and those noises, it was really hard for her. You know, we had to take her for counseling and yeah.
And this particular time you're not able to eat, yet you're pregnant.
Yes, and I know I need to eat, but it just couldn't get beyond here.
Yeah.
So I survived on fluids, yogurt, milk. It was hard.
Now let's get to the day of the burial. Tell me about it.
The day of the burial, of course, that the whole of that week we planned the burial. And I'm so grateful for my in-laws, because there's nothing I did. Yeah, they were very considerate of the fact that I was pregnant.
Are your in-laws born again?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but they took over, they organized, they bought whatever needed to be bought, they planned everything. I just appeared for the burial, you know, and that was really good of them, because I don't think I would have been in a position to do anything, you know. So yeah, the burial went on well. I'm so grateful. I was so strong on his burial. I said a few things. Yeah, but of course, the moment that you never forget that lingers in your mind is when the casket is going down, because I think that is still very fresh in my mind when you see it lowered and you've got to cover it with soil. Yes, that is tough.
That's saying goodbye for good.
Yes, that is saying goodbye for good. And this thing, in case you were dreaming, this thing really happened. It's thank you. It's not a dream. It's reality.
So I'm thinking that before you get to like the preparation of the burial, there's always that hope. Maybe it's coming, you know.
I think I dealt that with at the Lee Funeral Home when we went and prayed, and never, you know, he just didn't come back. I think that is the time I also, you know, as I cried, I let go. Could be there was still there is hope, but for me, I knew I had done it. I mean, I talked to God about it and I had let go.
So what hits someone when they're throwing the soil?
It's real. I mean, he's gone, never to be part of our lives ever again. I'll never see them again. Yeah, and it's usually so real that till today, when my mind goes back to that memory, the emotions still come, you know.
Allow me to ask, how old were you then?
I was quite young. I was 32.
Having to deal with the loss of a partner at 32.
Yes. And with 2 young children.
Oh my God.
It's not easy, but you've got to be strong. You've got to allow God to strengthen you. You've got to walk the journey. And the journey of widowhood in Africa is not an easy one. You know that. You know. There's so much that comes up, and you've got to go through all that. And let me tell you, if you're not strong, the floods will carry you along with them. Yes.
Let's talk about, oh my God, let's talk about after now you've left your in-laws' place.
Yes, after Christmas holiday, I decided, let me go back to my house, because then my daughter was almost 3, so she needed to start school. Yeah, so I needed to look for a school, and you know, now we had to go back home. Yeah, because of that, and I also need to start life again. I mean, you can't stay being held. It's time. There are moments when you have to take those steps really fast. You have to grow very fast. Yeah, so I had to go back to my house, look for a school for my daughter, and begin life.
That day you went back to your house. You slept well. Seeing pictures, seeing clothes. You're dining alone now.
Yes. I mean, you know, there's so much that that has changed. You know, the bedroom is empty. Yeah. The bed is so big. The sitting room is so big. The house is quiet because there's a voice that is not there. You know, it's tough. Honestly, it's tough. But you know, I pulled through. Yeah. I pulled through.
So, okay. So you try and gain courage to sleep that night. And you slept.
Yes, I slept.
Hey, God. And you slept.
Yes.
Mary, you're one of the strongest people I've met. I must say that.
Wow, it takes God, honestly. If God was never by my side, believe you me, I know I wouldn't be here. I always say that.
So your daughter, how about your daughter?
It was really tough for the little one. I mean, asking, where is dad, you know. Of course, at that age, the only thing I could tell her was, dad is in heaven with Jesus. You know, and we had to talk about that, you know. And somehow, God helped her understand. But of course, I had to take her for counseling and for, you know, even a pastor to talk to her and understand, you know, what I mean by heaven. Yeah, and with Jesus, you know, because she couldn't comprehend at that age. But God just took over her, and, you know, we went through that phase really easy. Till today, she's usually very fine. The person that really had an issue was the boy.
So he had, because you have to tell him after he's born.
Yeah, so 4 months later I give birth, you know, and he doesn't know, he has no clue till he goes to school. He goes to school and realizes that in homes we have a daddy and a mommy. And he comes home and tells me, Mom, why don't we have a dad here? And everybody else at school has a dad. And now you have to begin a journey with him. You've got to begin the journey again. Yeah, and at 3+ or 4 years, I began the journey with my son. And at every phase, I would help him understand, you know. At the beginning, you tell him Daddy is in heaven with Jesus. At that age, he knows Jesus. Then later, probably after 1 year, he comes and tells you, Mom, being in heaven means you died. Yes, then you've got to speak about death. Yeah, then probably after another 1 year, 6 months, 1 year, he understands that when you die, you put inside a grave. Mommy, did you do that? Yes, we did all that. It was a journey with my son, and I remember when he was 7, 8, he had his grief moment. He would take the photos of the father and hold them and cry. I never thought that you can miss somebody that you never met.
Oh no.
Yes. And you've got to go through that season with your children.
Yeah.
But now we're at a good place because he asked me that he wants to see his father's grave. Yeah, and I had to take him to see his father's grave.
Okay, Mary. Hey, Jesus Christ.
The most, let me tell you, for me, I think sometimes I would forget that I lost a friend, a lover, a companion, and I would grieve more for my children. Because, they come up with questions, they want answers, some answers you don't have, and then it will just chokes you. You just feel for them. I have my dad at my age. Daddy is still alive, 70 plus, still strong, and you're looking at them, you wonder, God, do they have to go through life without a dad? And you feel that they really need him. They're wondering, but we've walked the journey together all these years. They have reconciled themselves to the fact that daddy died. They have accepted it, and they're okay. Now they're okay.
So, Mary, you get to a place where, after the burial, the kids now have to eat. The kids have to go to school.
Yes.
How was that for you?
First and foremost, I had a very supportive family. And they came in, they just held me. I always say my journey was quite peculiar because I hear of stories of widows that are kicked out by the in-laws and
I even wanted to ask you, didn't they accuse you of being behind that?
No. I think we all understood that it was just a robbery because, again, that road was known to be a bad road.
Okay.
If I knew, actually, we would never have used it. Later I came to realize that people have lost their lives there, people have been hijacked. So they understood that it was a robbery case, so there was no any blame game. Yeah. But they really stood by my side, and to see that, we are not in any way, we don't lack in any way. And that was really good of them. That was really good of them. Even till today, if I need anything, honestly, my father-in-law is just a phone call away. Yeah, wow. But by the grace of God, I'm able to take care of my children. But just in case I would be stuck in any way, they are always there. Always there.
Oh my God. So, Mary, let me talk to you. Let me ask you about now. Because now we've seen the children journey through a process of healing. But I think the greatest person that needs healing is you.
Yes.
Because you see, for your son, he has to go through his own healing, your daughter, and that time you're focusing on your kids. You've forgotten about yourself. You're looking to your kids' healing.
Yeah.
So before we can even go further, we're going to come back and talk about now your inner healing, how you were able to heal.
Yes.
And be at a place where you don't blame God and you don't ask God questions, that particular place. So ladies and gentlemen, we will be back. See you in a few.